My wife's back here fucking with me. Last couple of times I made a video on dispatchers, dispatch services. I was hard on them, and I think it's for a good reason. But had one of you guys call me. First time was, don't answer the phone. I'm trying to leave you a message. Never left a message, but called over and over and over for about 3 weeks. Wouldn't say anything. Answer the phone. Nobody there. Block the number. He'd make up a new number. Call again. I figured, well, at least he's not fucking somebody else up. He's messing with me. That was fine with me. And it lasted about 3 weeks. And at the very end of it, he played back one of my videos where I said I didn't like dispatch services. So I guess I pissed somebody off. It was entertaining. Whoever you were, I unblocked all those numbers if you want to call back some more. That was kind of fun. Anyway, why do I dislike dispatch services, and especially all the ones that are popping up now? I do not believe you should be in this industry without maybe Shaggy training you, somehow knowing the industry more than learning to run a load board. I honestly believe that if you're dispatching, you should have driven a truck first so you know our side of the industry. You guys that are accepting these dispatch services, let's put it this way. I ran a load to close to Waco last Friday, Thursday night, Friday morning. I was looking for something else up till about noon. I know it's getting late. I know the dispatches are closing, or the brokers are closing on weekends. So I found a load from Waco to Glen Burnie, somewhere near that in Maryland, about 1,800 miles. Only paid $1.60 a mile, but I knew I wasn't going to have anything to do over the weekend. I hemmed and hawed around about it and said, no, you know what, I'll just take the wife up to Dallas. We'll go have some fun for the weekend. Short while later, I did find another load from Dallas to Denver, $2,800. There's a good reason to sit in a parking lot and check the load boards. Go sit in a restaurant, set your tablet up, check the load boards, and wait until that load comes. I have, and you'll hear all these stories all day long. I don't run cheap freight, all this crap. I have never taken a load that was cheap unless it was going exactly where I needed it to. About 80% of my business comes off of load boards. 20%, it's actually increasing quite a bit. Sorry. It's actually increasing quite a bit, but 20% of my loads are coming from brokers that I'm learning. I've got one lady that calls me for just about everything now. She called me last week while I was in Houston and asked me if I could take a load from about 100 miles east of Kansas City, Missouri to the port of Houston. 800 miles. I got her at $4,600. It was an oversized load. It was 15 foot tall, so I had to pull permits. This lady calls me for just about everything. She's in the habit of buying equipment. That rock crusher was going to Cuba. She's in the habit of calling me for trailers that have been damaged by somebody running into a bridge. The last one I hauled was rolled over in a storm. All these things are going to South America, to some other country. I guess obviously the regulation isn't as bad there, and they can get away with a lot more. And I guess these are very valuable to them. Almost always reefers. Had another broker I called about a job moving a 65-foot conveyor belt from right on the border of South Texas. I forget the name of it. Anyway, about 500 miles to the western side of Texas. It paid $5 a mile. Never negotiated with them on price. That was a fair price. I was happy with it. That person has called me back several times. There's lots of people that find out you know what you're doing. Whatever the problem, you'll get it through to them. They'll call you back before they'll call anybody else back. Are you in the area of this? I've got something going. The same lady with the rock crusher called me a couple of weeks ago. Said I've got a trailer I need moved to the port of Baltimore from somewhere in mid-state Ohio. I gave her a price. She said I need it done in the next week and a half. Not a problem. I found a load up to Ohio. It took me 3 or 4 days to get there. Took her load. Everything was fine. Things like trailer got a flat tire. It needed a new tire when I got there. I took it to TI caller. Problem. Here it is. I'm going to get it fixed. Okay, no problem. Send me the bill. We'll take care of that too. The rock crusher was another problem. Got it fixed, no problem. These people get to know you well enough to say, okay, well then there's a guy I can rely on. If there's a problem, he'll take care of it. He'll make sure he gets it there when he says he will, and we may have to pay a little extra to cover whatever the problems are, but I'd rather have it there with no headache. I don't even have to think about it anymore. This load to Denver was me being patient. I've sat in parking lots sometimes overnight, usually 3, maybe 5 hours, sometimes up to 8. There is no point in taking a load. I couldn't stress this enough to a buddy. He would rather pull a load for $1.20 a mile than to sit in a parking lot for 4 hours and find something better on a load board. The load boards are constantly changing. You cannot sit there and check it once every 3 hours. Literally, I'm sitting in a restaurant with it sitting on the table, just refreshing, checking again, checking the other load boards, back and forth. That's how you make money. These dispatch services that don't know what they're doing. Imagine this. You got a dispatcher. I think the most trucks any dispatcher, especially somebody that's experienced, should run is about 8. But let's pick out one of these dispatch services that are popping up everywhere that are running 10, 15, 20 trucks. How much time do you think they have to devote to you? You think they can sit on a load board for 5, 8 hours until they find a load that's worth it to you? Nobody is going to work as hard for you as you're going to work for yourself. Nobody. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Nobody can dedicate that kind of time. They can't make enough money to dedicate that much time to you and make a living. So they have to produce. Always produce. They're not working in your best interest. They're working in their own. They're working to make as much money as possible, just like you are. But they're willing to sell you out a little bit to get you rolling again, so they're making money and they can move on to the next driver. Like I said, I don't believe any dispatch service, unless they're formally trained. I mean, I've never had Shaggy dispatch me. I have absolute confidence he knows what he's doing. I've never would accept a guy that says, hey, I got a membership to DAT and Truck Stop and all these load boards and I can keep you moving. Bullshit. You know what you're doing. If you're out there, I get PMs on the load boards that on the Facebook pages that I'm on, and I'm on several. I get PMs all the time. Hey man, can I dispatch for you? Who the hell are you? Why are you knocking on my door? If you were that good, somebody would be knocking on your door. You're either brand new to the industry and trying to establish yourself, which is just as dangerous as the guy that just sucks and can't keep drivers. Think carefully before you sign on with a dispatch service. Don't even sign on with one. Use one when you need to, until you get familiar with how to use the boards, how to negotiate. I can't stress enough. I've said it in my other videos. Talk to the broker like you've been talking to him for years. Be nice. Be very clear. Plain English. Be very clear on what you're saying and try to make them laugh. I mean, be friends with them. These guys are trying to make a living just like you are. I took a load from Laredo is what I was trying to say, the conveyor belt to the east side of Texas, and it was $5 a mile. The shipper and the receiver was the same person. When I got it there, I asked him how much did the broker service charge him for it. He made $500 off of it. I made more than that. That was absolutely fair to me. I never negotiated with him on the right. It was a good price, so I accepted it. And that guy's called me back. He's like, all right, well, as long as I know I'm offering him a fair rate, I don't even have to deal with it. Here you go. Here's your price. Will you take it or not? And I've taken them for him too. Be reliable. No excuses. None. Whatever it takes. I've gone so far as to rent a truck to make sure that load is completed. Come back and dealt with my truck and took a total loss. Didn't matter. I did what I needed to do to get that load there. The reason these dispatch services are popping up left and right, I honestly believe, is because it's easy money. There's a lot of suckers out there that'll take, here's my 8%, take it. Keep me moving. They could be doing so much better. If you need help, if you honestly Shaggy's going to do a far better job than I could ever do. But if he's busy, or if you just need to ask questions or something like that, feel free to PM me. You can Facebook call me. You can do whatever you want. And by the way, the guy that was calling me over and over and over, let's do that some more. That was kind of fun. Y'all take care, man.